Today's podcast episode is for you if you are an entrepreneur, business owner, business leader, someone who considers himself a high performer in your career, but you have too many periods across a calendar year that are inconsistent with your health, your food, your lifestyle management, maybe even your training, and it bothers you. You have too many periods across a calendar year where you are off it. Simply put, this episode is going to help you identify the three things that I believe, having coached a shitload of people who are entrepreneurs, business owners, it's going to help you identify the three things that are going to give you more consistency across a calendar year. One of the things we pride ourselves on inside Built to Last is creating solutions for our clients so they have an answer for anything to do with their health across every single season within a calendar year. I'm very conscious that since I started this podcast, I've covered an awful lot with myself and guests around training principles, food, sleep, mindset, emotions, planning, and not just with my podcast, but I'm sure you follow other experts, PTs, coaches, maybe even certain YouTubes. It can be very, very overwhelming on really trying to identify what are the things that hold me back in the real world. Generic advice of stick to your diet plan, just get your sessions in, have a strong mindset is fucking bollocks. If it was that simple, why is it that there are millions and millions of people who are extremely sharp in business, made lots of money, ran through blood, sweat, and tears to achieve success from a career standpoint, but they're still underperforming with their body weight, shape, confidence and energy, and health? So the three things I'm going to unpack today, I think, are the three things around food, training, and mindset that are going to help create more consistency, or at least allow you to explore better solutions than maybe what you currently have when it comes to your training, your food, and your lifestyle management routine. So these are three problems every entrepreneur needs to solve to stay healthy year round. I haven't included that in the title of the episode, but this is year round. So if you want to stay in shape year round, these are three things that you have to learn or have to get guidance on at least. And I've got an opportunity for you at the end of this podcast. The first one is food, around food. For me, the number one thing you need to learn if you want to be in shape year round is how to choose smarter off menus, whether it's for business or pleasure, whether it's when you travel, you socialize, or you order in. If you don't know how to choose smarter off menus, you'll never, ever, ever have predictability and consistency with your health, shape, and weight. How can I say that with so much certainty? I'm yet to coach an entrepreneur who can stick to the same meal plan for 52 weeks of the year. I might sound like a broken record when I say this, but there are 52 weekends, that's 104 days in a year. Then you got birthdays, then you got Christmas, then you got special occasions, then you got business meetings, then you got travel. That's a third to a half of a year where you are likely going to be in situations where you have to choose off a menu. And if you don't know how to do that, so often for entrepreneurs, the fuck it mentality is going to come into play, and you're going to be consistently saying to yourself, oh, I'm going to be back on it when I'm in my home routine, or when I'm in that place. And for many people, it's home where I can prep my food. I know exactly what I can do on a daily basis. That's great. But as I've said, I'm yet to coach anyone the last 6 years who lives out of a box who can do that. So this is logic. If we don't know how to choose smarter off menus, it doesn't matter how well we've eaten. When we don't have to choose off menus, the percentage of the year that you're going to be choosing off menus is going to be the single most important thing around food that dictates how much you weigh, how you look, how you feel about how you look, and of course, the knock-on effects that has on your energy and confidence. So if you do not know how to choose off menus, I'll give you some very, very simple principles. And that is, if you are trying to choose off a menu, make sure that you prioritize protein. How can you make sure that you have at least 2 palmfuls of protein? Make sure it is real food, at least 90%, single ingredient food. Make sure that it's minimized added sugar, refined sugar. Why? And I know I've repeated this over and over again on multiple episodes. You are far more likely to eat on things that are processed, refined sugar, and when you don't eat enough protein. It's a common problem we impact with clients when they first join. They do not realize how little protein they're eating and how much processed food they're actually eating. Most people overweight are snacking on hyperpalatable foods and refined sugar. And certainly when you're choosing off menus, the restaurant or the takeout menu concerned doesn't give a shit about your health. They're just trying to make the food as desirable and tasty as possible, so you keep ordering it. That is likely to contradict the body weight and the shape, the energy that you want. And if you really, 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 really struggle at certain restaurants and would love to know how to choose off a certain menu, if you're a regular listener of this podcast, I'm going to invite an opportunity, and that is drop me a direct message on Instagram or LinkedIn with a simplified list of restaurants that you eat at regularly, takeaways that you order in from regularly, and I will do my very best to guide on exactly what to do in these situations. And the sense of freedom and emotional certainty that you will go into these restaurants and order from these menus will give you so much more peace of mind with your health. Great coaching isn't giving someone a diet plan that they can't stick to for half a year. Great coaching is spoon feeding what you need to do in environments that you like to eat at regularly with your family, your friends, your business colleagues, your team, etc. This is what we pride ourselves on inside Built to Last. We are absolutely ruthless with this. Off the bat, when someone joins, we want to know, where are they eating? Where do they like to eat? What are their favorite restaurants? What are their favorite menus? And how can we make sure that they are eating food that they like to eat, but also it's complementary towards their goals? And we notice blind spots every single time, but we always find a solution to make sure that a client can eat as much food as possible for as lower calories as possible. Certainly if someone's trying to drop fat, but more importantly, they like the food they put in their mouth, so they're likely to stick to it. Okay. And every client, we've got clients on every major continent with different cultures, different options, but we always find a way. And just to add to that point on choosing smarter off menus, now you might be like some of our clients where sometimes you are in situations where you haven't been able to order off the menu yourself because you might be in a group, it might be in sharing platter. If you're ever in these situations and you can't control what is being ordered, you can still remember those 3 principles. Is the food that I'm putting in my mouth high protein, minimally processed, minimally refined sugar? And even if that is still a challenge, if you can't control what you eat, you can certainly control how much you eat. A lot of people just eat on autopilot when they're eating off menus in groups. Don't be a sheep. Secondly, I believe the modern entrepreneur, if they want to stay consistent with their training, stay strong, consistently add muscle, be happy with their physical appearance, they must know how to train with just dumbbells. They must know how to train with just dumbbells. Why do I say this? Over a 52-week period, how many weeks do you not have access to the perfect gym? For example, when you travel, how many hotel gyms have shitloads of machines that you maybe currently train with? What they do have, though, is dumbbells and bench. There are not many hotels when you travel or even on vacation that do not have dumbbells and bench. So you need to learn how to train with just dumbbells, in my opinion. There's a reason why in Built to Last, we are very detailed with the way we program and create workouts, but we're also very practical and realize that we want to remove all barriers and all potential excuses as to how a client would never be off it with their training. And from all the research I've done and all the coaching I've done, there aren't many situations now where our clients across a 52-week period, wherever they are in the world, whatever hotel they're staying in, cannot train with dumbbell, cannot train because they don't have the kit, they don't have dumbbells. All right. If you listen to this podcast for an extended period of time, even if you haven't, I'm a huge fan of full body workouts. I think they're the most efficient, certainly when time is precious. And I believe dumbbells and bench, you get more done in less time. All you need is a bench. You set yourself up, you pick the dumbbells off the rack, and you can train. The problem, if you're consistently programming machines, you are reliant on the layout of that gym being aligned to your workout program. And every single gym is different, the layout. And you cannot guarantee that someone isn't going to be on the machines that you intended to work out on. And it's going to create friction, and it's going to annoy you, and it's going to put you off, one, going to the gym, but two, having a hard session. So I really believe if you were to evaluate over a 52-week period, how many situations, and then add up the time of that cumulative across the year, that you can't train with your usual pieces of kit, that is a cue that you need to learn how to train with dumbbells. Maybe you don't have to do it all year round, but again, the intention of this episode is to really be pinpoint on what's needed if you want to be in shape year round, which is why Built to Last is different. We want long-term solutions, not this quick fix that is unsustainable. And if you struggle to know how to train with just dumbbells, again, drop me a direct message. I'll give you some example workouts that are easy to implement, easy to follow. Okay. Thirdly, this is around mindset. And maybe this ties in with the first two, of how to choose smart off menus and how to train with just dumbbells. The third point is, this is the big problem. You need to know how to adapt when faced with chaos, curveballs, and a compromised routine. Every single week as an entrepreneur, I'm sure this will relate. You will have a curveball. There'll be something chaotic that weren't part of the script, the original plan. There'll be something that throws your routine off. It might be a late business meeting that you need to take, or a call, a client you need to meet, a team member you need to have a conversation with, a social occasion, something happens with your kids, your wife, your husband. I guarantee there's something that happens every single week that throws a curveball, certainly in the current climate. And not knowing how to adapt when faced with chaos is a large reason why a lot of entrepreneurs fold and are then off it with their health. They're off it with their health. They can only implement when they have perfect conditions and they have the full hour to train. They have their best eating solutions. That's just not realistic. That's just not realistic. Again, I'm yet to coach an entrepreneur. Even the top guys we coach, where something doesn't go wrong every week. And if you don't know how to adapt, or more importantly, react and then act, then the weeks that you have chaos, challenge, curveballs, that's going to be when standards go to shit. You either won't train or won't train well. You will eat more food than you need because you're stressed and tired potentially as well. And the all or nothing mentality creeps in. It's really, really important from a mindset perspective as an entrepreneur. If you want to be in shape, full of energy and confidence year round, that you have a minimum set of non-negotiable standards with your training, your movement, your food, your sleep, just your management of you. And it might not be optimal. It might piss you off. It might stress you out. I've been there multiple times already this year. But still have a pulse on the key components that keep you healthy. So when faced with chaos, curveballs, and a compromised routine, how can you still make sure that even on a bad week, you get 3 20 to 30 minute full body workouts in, even 2? You still get 6,000 to 8,000 steps, even on a really bad week where you are back to back with meetings. You find a way to get that total weekly steps in. Your food, even if you couldn't prep a meal, I'll give you an example. I've got a client who, I won't say his name. His wife has just given birth to his second child. Has had been some complications, so he's been back and forth to the hospital. He's a top industry leader in his field, so he's juggling managing his other child, back and forth to the hospital with to see his new child and his wife. He's got the biggest deal of the year he's trying to wrap up, and he's still trying to find time for him. But what we are teaching him is still to have minimum non-negotiables that keep his head happy. And he gave us feedback that it's like a mental medicine for him, that he's still finding time for him, however small, and he's still eating well as best he possibly can. And I'll give you an example with food. He isn't making one meal himself right now. He's sent across every single restaurant that he might eat at or takeaway he's going to order in from, or any food place that he might eat on the go from. And we've just simplified the best options, next best options in all of these places. So he still has minimum non-negotiables, even though he can't get his a slightly longer session in, he can't get all his steps in, he can't eat as optimally and perfectly as what he did maybe a few weeks ago, but he's still got a minimum set of non-negotiables. Simply put, he knows how to adapt now when faced with chaos, curveballs, and a compromised routine. And think back to, or just evaluate right now the last 3 months so far. Evaluate the last 3 months. How many of your weeks have been compromised where you had a curveball that affected how long you could train, how hard maybe you could train? It affected what you wanted to eat. It affected how much you could sleep. What did you do? Did you fold? Did you sack training off? Or did you have a half-hour session? Did you not move that week? Did you just eat shit? Did you drink more? And look at the impact that has on your business, on your relationships, and your well-being, how good you feel. And if you want to change that, then we need to know how to react in a better way and have minimum non-negotiables, even on a disastrous week where travels through the roof, and you simply can't do everything perfectly. And that's a big take-home message, that if you want to stay healthy year-round, you have to learn to deal with imperfections and real-world environments, real-world situations. especially when you've got more people to manage and you've got a life that is never the same on a week-to-week basis. So just in summary, 3 problems I believe every entrepreneur needs to solve to stay healthy. Around food, how to choose smarter off menus. Please drop me a direct message if you struggle with any particular menus, or follow the principles of protein, real food, minimize added sugar when you order. Secondly, learn to train with dumbbells, because 99% of environments and gyms, hotels, or any commercial gym, any conventional gym will have dumbbells and bench, and you'll get more done in less time. And you're not relying on that kit being free or a perfect gym layout to get your workouts done. Thirdly, have a minimum set of non-negotiables when you have a week that is compromised when it comes to your workout routine and you've got chaos to face. And just lastly, if you are consistently listening to this podcast and we're 3/4 of the year in now and you're still not where you want to be with your health, weight, shape, energy, and it's really bothering you that you're miles off from where you intended to be across the calendar year, and it's affecting how you perform in business, maybe your energy, productivity, maybe your mental sharpness, I can help you. My team can help you. We're not generic coaches. You don't need a diet plan. You don't need a training plan. You need to be coached if you are consistently overwhelmed and you're second guessing your decision making around food, training, movement, lifestyle. This is what we can help you with. So if you'd like some help, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Drop me a message or click the link on my website, kirkmiller.co.uk, and you can speak to a member of our team. And I promise you that as long as you're committed, you're driven, you're a coachable individual, the guesswork stops when you're on the built to last ship. The community is different. Got a huge event coming up in November in London, where we'll have an event that ticks every box, from training, health, food, emotional well-being, even business networking as well. So food for thought there. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.